Hey guys, welcome back to Seed and Sparrow Homestead. Sorry for all the background noise and the terrible lighting. I am downstairs in my basement. I am rotating my chicken here in the chicken freezer. This morning we butchered our second round of Cornish cross. My friend Heather came over with her husband. I've shared Heather's channel on here before, but I'll link it down in the description. She's a big foodie. She makes tons of different recipes, has so many cool ideas. She's a fantastic cook and baker, so definitely go check out her channel. But they're just wonderful. They came and they helped us this morning. So with the two of them, my husband and myself, and then Heather's husband's father came as well. He helped. We got everything done in about an hour and 45 minutes, and that was for 24 birds. So we were really pleased with that. And then after we shrink wrap whole birds. I like to piece out some of them, so I brought 10 inside and I pieced them out. And you know, like chicken breast, tenderloin, legs, that sort of stuff. So that is what I'm putting away right now. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make sure I was rotating the new stuff and the old stuff, so that's what we're doing now. But today we're just gonna kind of do some odds and ends. We might can up some potatoes. That's a project I need to work on. I have potatoes like curing all over the place, and I just harvested some more that need to be cured, so I kind of want to like put them away into storage. I want to can some up, and then I have some other projects planned for them as well, but we're probably not going to get to those today. I've got an upstairs pantry that needs cleaned out. I have to clean out a closet to store some potatoes. There's some other little odds and ends I need to get done, so we're just gonna hang out today. So if you watched my freezer clean out video, you know I was worried about having enough space, and it all fit perfectly here in this upright. So we've got chicken legs from last round. These are the new chicken breasts. I have all of the older batch here on the door, so I know to grab for these first. And then we've got new whole birds in here, as well as some new legs. New tenderloins down here. These are still the whole birds left from last round. And then I've got new birds down here on the bottom, as well as some carcasses for chicken broth. So here's what I'm working with for potatoes. I've got these two boxes here. I've got this row and this row. There's a box down there. There's a box here. And there's 3 boxes under here. So my plan with the potatoes is to go through, and I need to separate out the green ones. There are a few, some it's just like a little bit here and there. Those I will just keep in storage, but towards the top, so that I like to use them up first, and I will peel off whatever is green. The ones that you can tell are really green, I'm gonna try and save those for seed. We'll see if they last that long. I'll put them in a cardboard box that is completely tucked away from light, and we'll see if they'll last until next spring. I have no problem consuming some that just have a little bit of green on them. I will just peel away that skin or cut away that little piece. The green is just the chlorophyll, and that just means there could be presence of solanine, which is toxic. You would have to consume a lot of that for it to actually make you sick. So I feel comfortable just peeling away that green or cutting away that green if it's just a small portion, but there are some that have a lot of green. So those I will just store and hopefully use them for seed potato. That would be great. So I want to do that, and then I'm going to divide out some other ones that I want to keep in storage and ones that I want to preserve in different ways. I want to pressure can some. I'd like to freeze dry some for use in like, oh, I can't think of the word. What's it called? Scalloped potatoes, or potatoes au gratin. I want to make some of that up. I'm thinking I would like to freeze dry some mashed. I don't know if we're gonna get to that today, but I'm thinking either today or tomorrow I'm gonna be canning some, because like I said, I've got more coming in I have 25 pounds sitting upstairs that need to be cured, and then I have another 4x10 bed that are gonna get dug up probably in like the next 3 weeks, and they need to be cured too. So I want to get everything that's out here separated and put into its place. Isn't this a lovely sight? Look at all those colors of summer just waiting to be eaten up this winter. It's looking really full. I mean, there's not a whole lot of space left. There's a few rows. I've got a row here. I wanted to do another row of peaches, but I haven't found any, so I'm not sure if that's gonna happen. And then this is for some more meats and stuff, although it is kind of full. There's some back there, and this is like where my meal in a jar and meats are. I've got a few rows here that I can use for potatoes, so we're gonna do that. But I mean, everything else is pretty stocked. I still have to get some totes here to store and organize my freeze-dried stuff, but this whole shelf is pretty well full as well. I could honestly use another one. I'm constantly just running out of space. I also have some onions laying around here and hanging over there. I might try braiding those up, so we're gonna do that as well. So yeah, let's just get started. Actually, the first thing we're gonna do is take this chicken broth out of the freeze dryer. It's been beeping at me and I'm tired of hearing it beep, so we're gonna get it taken care of. Isn't that funny? Freeze-dried broth. Feels like styrofoam. So I'm gonna take this up and we're gonna run it through the food processor, and then I'll just store it in a jar. I thought some freeze-dried bone broth would be good to keep on hand to be able to add some water to be able to drink it if anyone is needing an immunity boost or, you know, has an upset tummy, to add to soups for an extra burst of flavor and nutrients, to add to casseroles. I saw one of you mention that you like to add it into your rice as it cooks. I thought that was a good idea. There's a whole bunch of things you could really do with it, and it's a great space saver. Now that the weather is cooling down, at least for us here, it made me think I need to get my medicine cabinet in order. Things like this bone broth to have on hand is great, but I was also thinking I need to get the ingredients together for some fire cider and some elderberry syrup. I like to keep those in my fridge over the cooler months as immune boosters. I always like to be prepared and have extra supplements on hand. I actually put out a video around this time last year making some elderberry syrup. I turned those into gummies. My kids like them better. And I made some bone broth and fire cider as well. So I will link that here on the screen and down in the description if you are interested in making some of that for yourself. The bone broth will just get stored in mason jars with some oxygen absorbers until I'm ready to use them. I moved on to braiding some onions to make some room. I am not the best at this, although I haven't had much practice, and this was a really pitiful onion harvest. If you weren't around for it, I had allium leaf miner damage. It decimated most of my crop, and I also had an onion thief, which I believe was a bird. So pretty poor harvest, which is okay. You can't always control everything, but making the most of it, I'm going to try and make somewhat of an aesthetically pleasing braid. I mean, that kind of worked. We'll go with it. I braided up the shallots here too. That one turned out a bit better. Then we got that one. Got some onions here. I had a few that just broke off, so they're just sitting here. And then we got my garlic hanging up here. So there's our allium harvest, although I have some leeks out in the garden too. We're gonna get out there hopefully in a few days. I wanted to get out there today, but it is raining today and tomorrow. So we'll do that a little bit later this week. All right, so now it's time to tackle these potatoes. I'm going through, there's already some that have started to sprout. So I'll just remove these and we're gonna eat these here really soon. So I'm putting all of the ones that need to be eaten right away into a box. I'm putting some really green ones into a box. I'm putting some that have just a little bit of green into a box, so I'm aware and I know to cut off those pieces. And then I'm doing a box of really big potatoes that will be good for baking. And then we'll do some for canning and other projects. Hopefully you can kind of pick it up here. The lighting is not the greatest, but these two are examples of potatoes that are just too green for my liking. You can tell like it's really pigmented here, so it probably goes down beneath the skin and into the actual flesh. So these I'm gonna try and save for sweet potatoes, although I don't know if you can pick up on that. There's already some sprouts forming, so probably won't happen. Now, this one, it's not super pigmented. There's just a little bit of a green tinge on the top. So this I feel comfortable peeling away, and then we'll consume the rest. But we'll try and save these. We'll see what happens. So now begins the process of sorting through roughly 200 pounds of potatoes. I said at the beginning of the video I have a closet that needs cleaned out where I'm going to be storing these. I just realized though that it's a bit too soon to put them up there. It's not quite cool enough yet. This closet is actually in our upstairs bathroom. It is in an original portion of the home. It's on an outer wall, and in that specific area the insulation isn't the greatest. It doesn't get super cold. I think it maintains about 40-50 degrees in there, which I think will be perfect for storing these potatoes. I just have to wait until the weather cools down a bit more. They should be fine in the basement for now because we don't have the coal stove running yet, although that's coming here soon. I'm just realizing to myself that we're almost in October, which sounds nuts to me. I can't believe it's here already. And we could have a frost in about 3 weeks. We've had one as early as 3 weeks from now. Hopefully it'll wait a little bit longer because I still have to plant my fall garden, you guys. I'm really behind on that. I was thinking to myself, well, I don't even know if I'm going to do it. But if I don't do it, then I know for sure that I'm not going to get anything. If I at least try, perhaps I'll get something. I've already started the seeds. The plants are already growing. Why not do it? So we'll work on that here later on this week. I have made my way through over 200 pounds of potatoes. This is the spoilage bucket. These will go to compost. They have like some big chunks taken out of them, or they had different spots in them starting to go really soft, so those are gonna go to compost. These are the ones I'm gonna try and save for seed potatoes. The pigmentation on them was just too strong. You can just see how it goes deeper than just the skin. So we'll try and save those. See if that happens. These two boxes here are what we're going to be working with to start preserving. These are the ones that just weren't ideal for storage for a variety of different reasons. Some do have like just a tinge of green on them, just on like the skin layer. I threw a few of those in there. I don't mind if there's a couple mixed in. I'm peeling them anyways if I'm canning them, so that's fine. There were a few that I kind of like nicked with my spade, which healed over, but they're not going to store for very long. So this is our canning slash freeze drying pile for now. I'm probably going to add to it throughout the season. And then over here, I've got my purple potatoes. Those we're just going to use for fresh eating. This is the box we'll have to work through first. They're the smallest ones. They're going to sprout and spoil the soonest. So those will get eaten first. Then we have 2 boxes of medium-sized potatoes, and then a big old box of beautiful big potatoes. I ran upstairs to grab this basket of potatoes I just harvested yesterday. This was a second planting. And it was about 20 pounds here, so I'm up to like think in total 230 pounds of potatoes so far. I've got another bed to harvest soon. For the second planting, I wanted to give the Ruth Stout method a second chance. I didn't love it the first time I tried this year because I ended up with a lot of green potatoes. Even coming back through and hilling, I didn't hill probably as well as I should have, but I decided to give it a second go, and I made sure to hill them really well. I had like quite a few inches of straw on top towards the end, and I still have green potatoes. Like, there's quite a few. I'm gonna say about 30% of them are green like that, and I just don't love that. That's like wasted space, wasted food. So I'm pretty sure I'm just gonna stick to what I know and what does well for me, and that's when I grow them in raised beds. I get a really great yield. Don't have any green potatoes. I've never really dealt with disease or anything. Yeah, they're a bit dirtier, but you know, oh well, dirt doesn't really hurt anything. So I'm not sure that Ruth Stout is for me. Not, you know, if you love Ruth Stout, you go for it. It's just not working out so great for me. But anywho, I'm gonna get these laid out flat to cure. I'm gonna separate out the real green ones again. And then in a few weeks, I'll have my last bed to dig up. Hopefully I get to my goal of 250 pounds of potatoes, which I think I will because it's a 4x10 bed. I was harvesting like close to 50 pounds out of those sizes earlier this season. So I'm pretty confident that I'll get that much, and then potatoes will be done for this year. Here is that batch all laid out, and it's about a third. And they're not just a little bit green, they're like really pigmented. Now the undersides are fine. Still, that's quite a loss. Way more than I am comfortable with. And I mean, am I doing it wrong? I think I had at least 6 inches of straw on top. Is that not enough? Do I need more? Anything more just seems excessive, and like that would cost quite a bit to get that many bales of straw, and which I don't know would be really cost effective, because I was buying organic stuff. So yeah, I mean, let me know if you think I should do something different, but with that many that green, I'm thinking I just want to do raised beds. Hello and good morning. If I look tired, I am. My kiddos picked up some sort of, you know, stuffy nose, sore throat thing at the fair this past week, and Grant was up a good bit of the night in bed with me, so getting a late start to the day. Slept in, took some time to rest this morning, but it's a slow rainy day, and my slow rainy day project today is canning up at least this box here of potatoes. So I'm gonna get to work on that, and kind of in between when I am waiting for things to get finished, I am going to clean out this little upstairs kitchen pantry behind me. It's a mess. It really needs to be reorganized. I need to make sure I'm using some things in there. Like, I don't really know what's in there. I want to pull out things that need to be used and just, you know, put things in their place again so I can find things when I need them and know what I have. So that's what we're working on today. I'm gonna get started peeling all of these potatoes. I am preserving 3 different varieties of potatoes here. I haven't found that one variety does better than the others. Some are starchier than others. I just rinse them a bit more thoroughly. But I have some Red Norland, some Superior White, and some Yukon Gold that I grew this year. I haven't ever tried canning a purple potato. I just figured they would end up looking pretty yucky. I figured the water would turn more of like a grayish purple color, so I haven't tried that yet. But if you have, let me know how they turned out. For now, we just eat all of the purple potatoes fresh. This year, I am breaking up my potato canning process into a few different batches. In years past, I've just done like massive canning days, and those are really exhausting. So I'm finding doing it in smaller batches over the course of the cooler months is just nicer. And it is a bit of a longer process. I do follow the approved method for canning. I am peeling all of these potatoes, making sure to get any of the bad spots off as well. And it can be a bit overwhelming if you've got lots of potatoes in front of you. So smaller batches are just a bit more doable right now. So I just put on a good show and I got to work. Finally, it didn't actually take me that long. About an hour to peel all these, and I mean that was with interruptions with 2 small children. Food needed to be had and somebody needed a drink. There was a fight that needed breaking up, so I mean, it wasn't that bad. And I'm just realizing, I think in like the last 2 or 3 videos, I've had laundry on my drying rack back there. I promise it's not the same laundry each time, although that has happened in the past, but it's different loads. This is just how we dry our laundry. And we have a small house, so that's what you see. I am going to be chopping these up now. I have obviously washed, peeled, and then rinsed again. If you are doing like little small potatoes like this, you can just leave them whole. If you've got medium sized to larger, the medium you could quarter. But if you're doing a whole bunch of large, I mean, I'm just gonna be cubing all these up into probably about 1-inch pieces, bite-sized pieces, somewhere in there. You do wanna try and make sure they're all the same size going into it so that the heat is, you know, getting into them, penetrating them all at the same rate when they're processing. So I'm gonna work on that. I am following the Ball book, the complete book of home preserving for my instructions today. And this is a hot packing method. I'm not aware of any raw packing that's approved. I'm following an approved recipe today. That's what I feel comfortable with. Your kitchen, your rules. I am going to be cutting these up and then I'm gonna bring them to a boil in some water. And it says to boil small cubes or small whole potatoes for 2 minutes. Or if you are doing larger quartered potatoes, then you wanna boil them for 10 minutes. The goal is to get them heated through, but you don't want them soft. So after that's done, I am going to rinse them, drain the water off and rinse them really well. So that's what I'm gonna do and get these all chopped up and then we'll get them boiling. Probably gonna cut them into about that size and try and get them all around the same size, but I mean, I'm not gonna be a perfectionist about it. I don't have time for that. After they have boiled for 2 minutes, I drained them off and I rinsed them really well. By rinsing them, it takes away some of the starch. If you were not to do that, you might end up with a pretty cloudy end result. and it kind of all congeals together with the starches. I don't love that, so I make sure to rinse them really well. Potatoes are really quite easy to can, other than that little bit of hands-on time in peeling them and chopping them. All you have to do after they've been boiled is put them into jars and cover them with some boiled water. I am filling them to a generous 1 inch of headspace, and then I will come back in with some boiled water. This is fresh boiled water, not the stuff we boiled them in, obviously. And then I will fill it up to that 1 inch mark. You can add salt if you'd like. I believe it's a teaspoon per quart and a half teaspoon per pint. I'm going to debubble them. One of you said to be careful with the skewers that I use to do that they can splinter, and I didn't really think about that. I have some higher quality chopsticks on hand to do my debubbling from now on. I am wiping down the rims, placing new washed lids, and then we're gonna throw our rings on to fingertip tight. I am going back and forth between 4 jars lids and some ball lids. I have tons of ball lids in storage downstairs, so I am equally using them. But going forward, if I purchase more, it will most likely just be through 4 jars. I really like the quality of their lids. I've had 100% seal rate. If you're interested in getting some 4 jars lids, I do have a discount code, which I will put here on the screen, and I will put a link down in the description, and you can get 10% off your order. Once up to pressure, these will process for 40 minutes. If you're doing pints, it's 35 minutes. If you need some more step-by-step help with pressure canning, I'll link a video here on the screen and down in the description for you. We're gonna move on to cleaning out my pantry. It's really bad. Let's take a look. I just opened this up and things already have fallen onto the floor. I don't even know what's in here. It's very hard to even find things that I do know are in here. My kids have access to this space, and sometimes I'll keep snacks in here, so 2 little people going in here and, you know, shuffling through things, throwing things back in here makes for a mess. And quite honestly, when I am busy and in a hurry, I throw things in here too, not where they belong, just wherever I can find a spot. I need to retrain myself. It hasn't worked yet. I need to break that habit of just throwing things wherever there is a spot and learning to put things back where they belong, because I'm gonna do this work. It'd be nice if it would stay this way. One of these times, right? One of these times it's gonna stay organized. But these swing out, and there's just like piles of stuff back there, some old snacks, things that I don't even purchase anymore. Lots just needs to be gone through. I need to pull out things that I need to use up. I might make some sort of meal plan to use those things. I'm just gonna start pulling everything out of here, putting it onto my table, organizing things like with like. Probably gonna have to ditch some things and just, you know, make this space more functional. Can you tell I'm on a bit of an organizational kick? I get this way whenever the weather cools down. It's almost like a form of nesting, except I'm not pregnant. I just want like everything to be in its place because we're gonna be inside more. I'm gonna be cooking more, and I just want everything to be neat and tidy. I get this way every fall. Anybody else there with me? I also have it on the agenda to clean out all of my kitchen cabinets. Those are a disaster. I have lots of house projects planned too, which I'm really excited about. There have been half-finished projects all over the house. I have like paint swatches on different walls. I like to put paint swatches up and leave them there for a month or 2 to make sure I really like the color. I can be a bit wishy-washy with colors. But I am looking forward to having some of that time to work on these projects and actually see things getting done. So we've got the big canning pantry and dry goods pantry all organized downstairs. We just went through the freezers. Now we're working on this pantry, and hopefully soon I'll get to the cabinets. But once everything is in its place, and I know where things are, I know what I have, I get excited and inspired, and I want to use them. It's kind of like the same idea as putting my kitchen to bed at night. If it's clean in the morning, it's more inviting to me and I want to use it, and that's another thing I need to get back into the habit of doing. Busy season with garden and preserving things, most everything just gets tossed out the window, but it's time to bring back all of the good habits. First scanner load is finally up to pressure, so that time has started for 40 minutes, and I will have one more batch to do before I go to bed tonight. Brought in the vacuum here to clean up all of the little crumbs, get in all the little crevices. I am actually in the market for a new vacuum cleaner. I've had this one for over a decade, and it's done its job. It served me well, but it's really started to lose its suction. I replaced all of the filters and the parts, and it's just not doing what it used to do. So if you have some good recommendations for vacuum cleaners, go ahead and drop them in the comments for me. I'd really appreciate it. So now that everything is nice and clean, I'm going to start putting everything back in. For some reason, I had the urge to switch all of the pasta from the right side to the left side for no other reason than it felt right. Can't explain it. So all of the pasta went over here. I tried to categorize it and also put the stuff that needs to be used towards the front or the top. On the right side, I mostly put things for baking and some add-ins, some nuts. I had some beans that needed a spot and some extra things like coffee filters. And I had some space left over. I think I might bring up some of the apple cider vinegar and maybe some other things from the pantry since I have a little bit more space now. Potatoes are coming out of the canner. I got a second load in. These all looked great. No issues with siphoning. All of the lids sealed, so they're going to go down in the pantry in the morning. I just saw someone recently can up some French fries. So they cut up French fries and they canned them just like this. Have any of you done that? I'd love to know how they turn out in the end. Do you just bake them then? Do you fry them in oil? Do you put them in the air fryer? I'm just wondering how good the end result is. If you've done that, please let me know down in the comments. I'd really appreciate it. I got it all nice and organized now. I can see where everything is. I tried to categorize my spices by more herby things, spiced peppery things, sweeter things, and then I put together the baking soda powder and cornstarch and arrowroot powder, some of my own herbs and spice blends from the garden, chocolate chips, cocoa powder, instant coffee, and then some snacks there at the bottom. And here I did some flours. There's cornmeal, breadcrumbs, gluten-free flour mix, oats, some extra add-ins like brewer's yeast, some sugar I had stocked up on during the busy season. Sometimes I just can't do everything, and I usually make this stuff myself from organic raw sugar. I'll make my own brown sugar, but busy season, just can't do it all. So I stocked up on that this summer. Some extra add-ins what do I have in there? Oh, those are some beans and lentils, walnuts, and some hot cocoa mix, coffee filters, and then I've got some more space in there, which is nice for some extra things I could pull up from the basement to put in here. And then on the back on this side, I just have all of my pasta. I also have some barley, quinoa, some couscous, and on the bottom is just a big thing of rice. So this is ready to go. I know what I've got, know where it is, and it's all ready to be used. All right, friends, Thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me as I got some more things done in and around my pantries. It feels good to keep checking things off the list. Maybe you got some stuff done while you hung out with me as well. I appreciate you all so much. Blessings on your day, friend. Until next time, take care.